My name is Abraham Laboriel, and I'm so glad to be invited to be part of this beautiful bass magazine and do this interview. I want to share my life, my story, my music, my heart. I was born and raised in Mexico City, Mexico, July 17th, 1947. I moved to the United States in July 19th, 1968. I got married and I stayed. So I've been in the United States since '68, and I did not start to play the electric bass until 1971. My major was the rhythm guitar. I went to school in Boston, in Berklee, and one day I discovered that I could play the bass in 1971. The teachers allowed me to do my ensemble work for the last 2 years of school as a bass player, so that opened all the doors and my life changed forever. One of the things that I think I skipped sharing with you is that when I was 4 years old, I was very mischievous and I lost the tip of my index finger. So my father started to teach me how to play guitar with the remainder 3 fingers, and it became very, very difficult because the tip of this finger is very important for guitar playing. But with the bass, I discovered that if I press with the first phalanx of the finger, I don't need to leave any open strings underneath, and suddenly just all the doors started to open up. And shortly after I started to play, I made my first recording in the United States and my very first jazz album with Gary Burton for ECM Records, and the name of the record is The New Quartet. So from 1971, my life changed forever as a bass player. Then the second recording that I did was for a rock and roll singer named Andy Pratt, who was signed to CBS Records. Then I graduated in '72. I started to work with Henry Mancini, Michel Legrand, and Johnny Mathis. Eventually, I moved to Los Angeles in 1976, and then my full-time recording career started here in LA. And we have 2 beautiful boys. The young one is Mateo Andres, who's a producer, composer, arranger. He has a degree from Berklee as what they call MP&E, music production and engineering. And then Abe Jr., who's the firstborn, who is right now considered one of the most respected drummers in the world. And it just gives me great pride to tell you that when he was 2.5 years old, my wife, in order to complete her medical career, she's a pediatrician, we were doing the internship in Cleveland, and we felt that it was really important that our son did not feel abandoned by both of us, because she was doing about 118 hours a week. So I stopped working as a musician for those 2 years. And I had the privilege of being with my son intimately for 2 years, which very few fathers have the chance to do. And so that created a very special bond between us. And then when we finally came to Los Angeles, everything just changed in the most wonderful way. I started to record with everybody and work with everybody. And since then until now, I've been participating in more than 4,000 recording sessions, each session being approximately 3 hours. So it's a lot of time of making music for everybody and playing the bass. And the reason why I'm sharing these things is because I want to encourage all of you to tell you that, first of all, discover something that you love to do. And then trust that what you love to do is going to be communicated to people, so that we are doubly blessed, because we can not only live in a world where we have discovered something that we love to do, but we are allowed to do that every day for a living. Being a bass player is about a lot of responsibility. In my clinics, I always talk about how my teacher said to me that the bass player is the house where all the other musicians go to find refuge and shelter. And if we forget to function as a bass player, we are leaving all the other musicians homeless. And so the main function of being the bass player is to play the bass line. And the bass line gives us a great, immense privilege, harmonically speaking, that all the chords are named from the bass. So that could be the root. If we change that note, like if that's an E major, so if the bass note is a low E, you call it a E major over E. But if you change the bass note, then even though it's still an E major, it becomes a different chord, So that becomes a E over D or E over C sharp. The bass player names all the chords. And so our responsibility is to be very sensitive to what name are we giving people's chords, so that we don't run into conflict with the people that wrote the song, or the people that are singing the song, etc., etc., etc. My encouragement to all of you is to have dialogue. Play in such a way that it is open for dialogue, so that people can tell you yes or no, or I like that, don't do that. So you will always be aware that every note that you play, that is welcome, In that case, I'm going from, E with E on the bass to an A with E on the bass to a B with E on the bass or a G So even though the bass is not changing, the chords are changing, and therefore the fact that the bass is not changing, you're still changing the name of the of the note, the name of the chord. So as a bass player, that's one of my favorite things to do, is to take a song and see it transformed by the notes that I choose to play, and then that has become a little bit of a signature, and that's part of the reason why people keep inviting me and calling me to be part of their projects.